So I'm not even convinced this is a video I should really be making. I had an amazing game in the Hannover yesterday, and I figured I should probably show it to you guys. The problem comes down to the build we're running on Hannover. Full secondary builds at Supership tier really are bad news. You really shouldn't be running these because you're just not going to get in secondary range very easily, especially when there's enemy carriers, enemy submarines, a lot of gunboat DDs, HE farming cruisers from range, and battleships are just going to do really good damage to your superstructure, especially when you're in a Hannover. But this is a secondary battleship, full secondary build game where we're actually going to do really well. So keep that in mind. Not all of my games look like this. Most of them do not. With that disclaimer out of the way, we have a Buffalo to deal with here. We're going to push up relatively aggressively on this flank, since our destroyers are pretty pushed up here, and I'm hoping that I can help them out here. We want to win that DD engagement early on, as always. We see the Groningen smoking up on the flank, gunboat destroyer there that is going to farm us for a lot of our HP here. So we got to turn around. There's really not a lot we can do there. We've already done nearly 20k here with our guns, keeping in mind that we don't have accuracy on these guns. The third slot is going to be for secondary range, not for main guns accuracy. Certainly not the most optimal build most of the time. But if you get lucky enough, we will be doing a little bit of damage. The secondary build also allows us to get these secondaries online for this Buffalo a little bit earlier, which is pretty nice. We're going to be pushing up with our Hydro, one of the great strengths of the German battleships. If you're going to push in, having a Hydro is pretty nice. And front guns only is going to 22k this poor Buffalo through the bow. He was reasonably well angled there, and he's done. Yeah, it's going to be one of those games where we don't take accuracy build, and we're still going to do a ton of damage. I don't know how I got this lucky, but hey, I will take it. Lepanto broadside. These Italian battleships, pretty hard to citadel, just the way their armor works out. And our back guns are just going to citadel them. So now we're on, what, 12 hits from our main guns and 75,000 damage. That would be an amazing score in a Shikishima. Like, that is not a secondary build Hannover kind of damage score. Moving ahead, we're going to be running away from the Groningen. I don't really want to eat all that chip damage, and we're going to push towards the middle of the map, where we're going to hope to take out this Lepanto and try and pull our team back into this game. It's starting to look a little dire here. The enemy team has 2 caps to our 1, and it looks like they're going to be winning the A cap as well. So we need to make a play, make something happen. We barely managed to dodge the Dalarna torps. Very nice. Hydro being down here makes it a little tricky to push in, but fortunately we do miss those initial torps, and we'll have Hydro for the next set. That's one of the things you should be looking for if you're going to be pushing in a German battleship. Try to wait for your Hydro to be available. It would be a much smarter way to go about things. Getting some value off both sides of our ship from these secondaries, and they're actually going to take that Unicum out. Feels pretty good, and our fire that the secondaries also set will take the Lepanto out for a double strike. Yeah, everything seemed to be going our way, at least in the beginning here. Finally, our dispersion says no to this broadside Zhao at 13 kilometers. That's to be expected. Non-secondary, or the non-accuracy build German battleship probably shouldn't be as consistent as it has been in this one. Trying to get as much damage in on these destroyers as possible. As we all know, that is what will win a lot of games, so we need to try and do as much as we can to them. Dalarna does go dark, though, and with our Hydro, I did manage to find a timing where the Dalarna wasn't actually able to torp us, getting ourselves a nice free turn out here. Shima takes out the Groningen on the flank, which is very good, so our team's going to probably get into the enemy home cap there, so we don't actually have to push too aggressively now. Points are relatively stable, and we're going to be even on caps in a little bit here. And if I could pick any target for the Hannover to be at a brawl with, I think Patry would be very high up on that list. 32 millimeters of armor everywhere, meaning our secondaries will pen literally everywhere on his ship, and our main guns, being 481 millimeters, something like that, they overmatch 32 millimeters of armor. So this Patry is essentially just, what, 100,000 HP of free damage to us. And our armor even worked that time. I often complain about the German battleships having gigantic superstructures, because they do. It's like the size of a city. Very easy to get a lot of damage into a German superstructure, but that time the Patrie managed to only hit our belt armor, I guess? And yeah, the overmatch is just ridiculous here, along with those secondaries. And if you haven't seen it before, the combat instructions here are activated. You can see that with the searchlights being on right now. And they're going to give us more range and DPM on our secondaries. All you got to do is land 12 shells within the vicinity of an enemy ship. You don't even actually have to hit the ship. And that will be charged up, which is pretty useful for getting a little bit more chip damage as someone is kiting away from you. Or if you need that extra DPM to kill a target really quickly, that's going to be a very, very good option for you. The real problem, though, with these combat instructions and full secondary builds at high tier is going to become apparent very, very quickly. We've been quite lucky this game, not only in our dispersion, but who has been attacking us? Or who has not been attacking us? Notice the carrier hasn't really come after us this game, and the Gato, the submarine on the enemy team, spawned in the north. So, yeah, we're about to get punished here real badly. The Hannover is gigantic. All of these high-tier battleships are gigantic and really aren't that maneuverable. So enemy carriers have a pretty free time to get damage on us, and if a submarine is going to shotgun you or catch up to you in any sort of way, it's going to be a really, really bad time. Fortunately, the carrier missed his first drop, still did a little bit of chip damage and a fire to us, but I promise you it's going to get a lot worse here. I'm thinking about turning in here. Notice my guns are kind of not sure which side to go on. Part of me wants to push towards where our Austin is to try and get some AA help, but I don't really see myself getting there in time. Our Kraken unleashed there, that's 5 kills, collecting the Zhao there. And I realize I do need to help out on this Freddy. We're not going to get to the Austin in time for AA support, so we need to try and dodge these torpedoes that we do see coming now. Keep an eye on our health here, 45,000 HP at the moment, and now we're down below 20. One singular strike just did 25k to us. Undodgeable free damage. We love carriers, don't we? We're going to pick up this Freddy, though, which feels pretty nice. We're also going to help out on that Delarna. So 6 kills at this point feels really, really good. But yeah, we're going to go down here relatively quickly. So you can see just how quickly we just evaporate all of our HP the instant one of the special classes, carriers or submarines, is going to be on us. That's really one of the main reasons why I don't like to run these builds. You're at such a massive disadvantage in the long-range game, which is typically how a lot of these matches go. Another 15k there and a fire. That's going to be the end of our game. 250k is still a really, really good result, though. And the secondaries performed extremely well. I love to see that. And just before we get to the end score, I got to show you guys this. Our Austin here clutching out the game against the 2 protected classes. You love to see it. He managed to take out the FDR, so he's just got to dodge these last couple of planes here. And the submarine is around him as well. We all know how strong the Gato is, and this Austin's got some work cut out for him. He did a very, very good job here in the late game. And honestly, clutching up in the late game is pretty difficult, guys. Sure, there's going to be obvious plays to make, but knowing to make those plays in the late game under all that pressure, not easy. And our Austin here does manage to get both of them, which feels great. So we do manage to win that one. 6 kills, just a ton of secondary hits, and a lot of fun. We definitely got pretty good RNG on our main guns as well. We can't deny that. That's not always going to happen. Nearly 3k base XP. A really, really good Hannover game. But again, keep in mind, they're not all going to look like this. In fact, most don't. As for the build here on the Hannover, like I said, full secondary. Yep, we are going for the secondary upgrades on our commander. We're even taking emergency repair expert and fire prevention. Getting rid of concealment here is a little iffy. It helps you to push in, helps you take less damage at longer ranges since you're just not going to be spotted. But this time I went for emergency repair expert, trying it out a little bit. Of course, adrenaline rush. Greasy gears is pretty necessary, I find. Vigilance could be a good option as well. Don't get baited by the AA skills. They're not going to do anything. AA is just kind of fireworks for show. Carriers are always going to get that free damage in on you. That turn time, though, is very, very useful. 33 seconds instead of 45-second turret traverse is pretty valuable, especially on a ship that has, well, not the best maneuverability. So you're going to be using your turrets to aim and react to ships that pop up on your flank. Really, really useful. And yes, full secondary, guys. I was not joking. Not even taking reload, not taking aiming. And it worked out in this one somehow. I don't know how, but maybe give it a go yourself. It's a little bit scary. Most of the time, it's going to end in a fiery, sinking Hannover with very, very little damage to show for it. But it managed to do it in this one. So hope you guys enjoyed that one. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.